They tried the impeachment hoax. That was on A Perfect Conversation. They tried anything. They tried it over and over. They've been doing it since you got in. It's all turning. They lost. It's all turning. Think of it. Think of it. And this is their new hoax.
You were down in Charleston last night using the word hoax when talking about Democrats. Somebody now is dead from this. Do you regret that kind of talk?
No. Hoax referring to the action that they take to try and pin this on somebody because we've done such a good job. The hoax is on them. I'm not talking about what's happening here. I'm talking what they're doing. That's the hoax.
There's Donald Trump explaining what the definition of hoax is, attacking the media over the weekend as coronavirus continues to spread across the U.S. Donald Trump blaming news coverage for the fear and anxiety now surrounding what Tony Fauci just described as a global pandemic. Tables back. David.
Look, personally, we are witnessing in Donald Trump a man who is incapable of rising to the moment of a public health crisis. He simply doesn't have the wherewithal to be able to address the moment as a president needs to. Politically, I think you're seeing the typical strategy.
You mean mentally and emotionally?
Yeah, look, his ego gets in the way. It's about him. He can't possibly absorb any fault. It has to be giving him credit for something that's already done or not done. But that translates politically to a strategy, which is fake it until you break it and then blame somebody else. And that's what we're seeing play out here. There is no political win in responding to a public health crisis. You may get commendation for how you handled it, but we're way past that. He's not going to. What he does know is he can assign blame. And so he's going to assign blame for Democrats for being irrational. He's going to switch the narrative to say Democrats are trying to use this politically against them, and therefore they are the bigger evil than Donald Trump is in this moment. That is a tried and true strategy of his when he gets in trouble, and that's what we're seeing play out, which goes back to the point that he's personally not fit to meet this moment.
Donna, he re-upped his press as the enemy of the people. Presidents never love the press coverage they get, but I cannot fathom President Obama or President Bush in the middle of a crisis where you rely on the media, the local news, the local newspapers, cable news, network news, for getting important information from your own officials out to the public.
Well, and that's what he should be doing. I mean, we all know that. We've seen presidents do it before where they use the media to get the information out that people need so that we aren't panicking unnecessarily and, doing things, buying, masks and others that aren't going to protect us. And this president has failed at even that basic part of leadership where you allow your experts to stand in front of the camera to assure the American people. And he can't even do that. And the danger here, of course, is that people potentially can lose their lives. And so this isn't just a one-off attacking Democrats. And those are the same Democrats and Republicans in the Congress that he's going to need to make sure that we put together the kind of funding package that we need to get through our public health system that he has already decimated and that we have to rebuild. I mean, I just don't even know how to explain a president anymore who has zero capacity to react in a normal way and display normal leadership than any other president would.
Mara, I think it was Steve Schmidt who said a couple years ago, in Trump's mind, he is the state.
Right.
So when the state is responsible for the citizenry, it blows all of his circuitry. He's not responsible for us. He's responsible for getting reelected.
That's right. And the other way to look at that is he does not see himself as a public servant at all. And part of this job is politics in public office, but part of it is about public service. It's about getting services, trash pickup, the CDC to the public that needs it. And this is a president who has shown no interest in that, no understanding of his obligations and responsibilities, and also has gone after the bureaucracy that supports service to the American people, gutted the CDC, gutted the global health systems that former President George Bush built around AIDS and HIV virus, and then later that former President Obama carried out that could have responded to this crisis globally and frankly helped keep it from our shores.
And to that point, he contradicted Tony Fauci again today on the vaccine. Tony Fauci said even if we have a vaccine, it will not be distributable in time. I mean, how do you function if you're part of that bureaucracy that hasn't been gutted?
Well, I think this is also a president who hates science, right, and has no use for it. And so that's part of the story here as well. I mean, it actually reminds me a little bit, though, of Governor Chris Christie during the Ebola crisis, who I think I remember he kind of like put a nurse under house arrest in a tent and had her kind of under quarantine. And it was also kind of anti-science. It's just not a good look for anybody.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.